Hi. Today we'll show you how to make photos and how to process them if you shoot in harsh conditions. Let me show you some examples what those harsh conditions could be. First of all, it could be moonlight. So you may see here how moon highlights those clouds, those traces of jets, and basically when I was shooting, one of those jets was flying there around, so you may see trace of this jet as well. And here you may see Orion belt, which I wanted to shoot initially. When I pointed my camera aside, it was something like that. So here you may see that this is Orion constellation. You may see its bow, you may see head of Taurus, but still you may see those flares produced by the moon. And again, those traces from jets and really weird stuff. There are techniques which help you to still overcome this, and usually they been called image stacking. So you can make a series of different photos, and those photos will be again stacked together, which will amplify the light or brightness of those stars on your image. And let me show you an example of those images which were properly exposed, but then you may see how from one image to the other image stars were moving, new trails appeared, and still it was really let's say shed with the moonlight. So it was not good, and let me show you why. Because when I tried to stack those images, I don't want it to be shown in GIMP, sorry for that. Okay, good is that GIMP will open, but I would want to open this in the default Photos application. So here you may see. And the problem is that when you are making well exposed photos, stars are moving that far from each other, and there is so much light noise, so that even ghosting removal doesn't work well. And you see that horizon is blurry as well, and this is because of the fact that stacking application wanted to follow the star trail, and it started to rotate horizon as well. There are settings in various applications which allow you not to touch your ground-based objects, so that you can say, hey, this is ground, don't touch this, and this is sky, do your job there. But then still, if skies are moving, you may start struggling with various things like, hey, how would we compose it all together? And this is the case when the practice the practical example or advice which we would discuss today might help. The other example, so this example was, hey, there is a lot of moonlight, and for the properly exposed images we should wait really long time. The other example is that when you would like to make your photo shoot in the cloudy environment, like this one. So you may see that there are clouds which make the whole sky kind of dim, and it would kill the whole photo set. On the other hand, you may see that, hey, look, but those clouds, they are moving, some stars appearing, some others are disappearing, or they've been mulled out by those clouds. So what would we do? And again, if I would make properly exposed images, then in this case I would still got some ghosting here and some rotation problems as well. But again, on the other hand, even here you may see that, hey, this is stargazing from the Milky Way. So I was really close to what I want to get from single shot, but those clouds, I didn't want them to be here. And there are two programs, we will review on one of those, that addressing this. And for Windows users, there is a sequator. In the video description I will provide a link to this. And I heard on several forums that this application, it is a good adaptation of the other good application, which is Starry Landscape Stacker, which is available only for Mac users. I'm sorry, I'm Windows user, so Starry Landscape Stacker was not an option for me. But hey, if I can get images like that with sequator, okay, worth to try. Even more, sequator, it is for free, so I gave this a try. And I read through the manual, and I really appreciate the way how author explains the approach how to make those images. And all he says is that you can make your images in higher ISO, and their application will deal with this higher ISO. But the main point is that you should shoot your photos with really fast shutter, so that there will be virtually no or really almost no or less noticeable move of the sky. And I gave this application a try, and I followed what this guy suggested. So what he says is just, hey guys, make a noise image, so just cover your landscape, make this black photo, and then when you have this black photo, which shows you the noise image of your sensor, then have all of those star images, and then with this application you can try to glue them all together. He advises to make a number or series of those images, and again, this is something to experiment, because when you put really a big series of photos, like initially I made 30 images in a series. So when I put the entire 30 image series to this application, I got this distortion which basically is a star trail, which I didn't want to have. And when I put a smaller number of images, and in my case it was just 6 images, for 6 images, which was shoot really fast, there was virtually no move of star, where it was really small move of star, and star appears on the result image as well. So there are different options which you may try to play it out. For me, I would say that yes, reduce dynamic noises. It makes sense, and reduce light pollution. It makes sense as well. Other options, for instance, auto brightness, they do not work well for me, but again, experiment and see how it works. Because, for instance, in this image, you may see that this image has a strong reddish or orange tilt. And when I made this auto brightness option, whole image was like resulting image was fully same thing. But when I remove this, let me see what we got. Not here, sorry for that, in sequester. So this is the result image of stacking 6 images, and usually when you throw a series of images, it picks the middle one as the base image, which you will see for static parts of the image. And again, noise image, I shoot it every time in the beginning of the series. So if you compare this image to this image, then you may see that, hey, look, there are really clouds around this mountain, but the way how they look, it is completely different. So they smooth, and they take only a minor part of this whole image. But on the part of image where we should see skies, we actually see skies, and this is truly amazing. So this application produces TIFF files for you, and then those TIFF files you can post-process in ROT-therapy, and then you can post-process those images with your photo editor tool or with Instagram, and make it ready for publishing. Like, for instance, this image, how it looked like at the end, it was like that. So you see, oh sorry, it's not that, it should be that. So if you compare them, or if you compare them, you see a different story. And again, out of this I gained some stargazing out of Milky Way, and I wanted this image to be really cold, like winter night. And you may see now that those clouds, that they are similar somehow to polar lights, which is somehow interesting effect as well. So that's how it works. So the basic idea is that, hey, if you are outside and you see clouds, still give it a chance, but make your images a little bit underexposed, because here you may see that images, they look like just black rectangulars. Like, this is the image which was properly exposed, and this is one of the images in the series which were exposed differently. So shutter speed was lowered, ISO was bumped, aperture was wide open, and basically you see that there is really hard to see anything here where we might have stars, but then still this starlight is there. You can experiment and find out what exact setting work for you, but for me those images which seem to be strongly underexposed, they at the end produced this image by stacking them, and at the end I got this image, which then I published elsewhere. You may see some graining here, but again, please be informed that this image was for web publishing, so it was low resolution, and when you have this low resolution image anyway, there will be some trade-offs, and when you see this image on your mobile device, I doubt you will notice any issues with this image. So that's it. So don't be worried with weather conditions. Go out and experiment, shoot your star series, and then process them with Squatter if it is Windows, which works for you, or Star Landscape Stacker if you are Mac user. And guys, it's really amazing. Enjoy. Somehow I forgot completely to show you this moonlight shed image, so let me remind you that it was moonlight night, and that when I tried to make a proper photos, then there was a lot of different artifacts like airplane trails and jet trails and some clouds everywhere as well. So I followed same approach, so you may see here those black rectangulars, and at the end I've got this image. So you may see that stars are really bright, that there is no single sign of those trails. Okay, those moonbeams, they're still here, but they are rather minor. So this is how it works. Even if images are underexposed, you still can get a good result if you have a series of those made really fast images which you can stack together. And that's my final word. Enjoy.